Good morning, everybody. Today is Celebrate Life Day. Today is Celebrate Life Day, and who else would I want to be here to celebrate life but my dear friend Lucy Harris, better known as the mom of Ella J, who mommed so many kids during your time as a teacher. How many years?
I taught for over 30 years. We'll just put it at that.
So, Lucy, you have children who have now had children.
Yes.
And will be having grandchildren before long. Yeah, that's crazy.
They run up to me everywhere and go, "Look, this is my first grandchild." And
yeah.
I just go, I really don't want to hear that.
That's crazy.
But they're so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And so many awesome memories. Now,
Oh, yeah.
Did you have, during the 30 years of teaching, did you have one student that just captured your heart and you said, you know, they're going to go somewhere in life? Did anybody become something really, really cool?
I was just going to say, whichever child I was talking to at that time.
Make them all feel special.
Well, and they've all done so well. I'm just blown away sometimes when I run into one of my students and they are accomplishing, they're on the job, they're doing things. I mean,
and doesn't it make you feel good that you were a part of that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Being a teacher in a small town, there is nothing like it. It's really wonderful.
Well, we both have on blue today, and we are celebrating America. We're celebrating Back the Blue with our police officers. We are celebrating everything that is good in America. And even though America has got some crazy stuff thrown at it right now, America is still the greatest nation in the world.
It's going to make it through this.
It is going to make it through this. And would there ever be a time that if the flag were in front of us, if the national anthem were played, that you would take a knee? Never? Never?
I would take a knee, but only in homage and prayer and gratitude and praise for everything that I've been given. And, you know, I didn't have the most perfect life growing up. I mean, I had some terrible things happen to me, but my country has always had my back. And I think it still does. And I think my country deserves me to do everything I can, like you said, that is good and positive.
Has to be.
To help people see that we're going to make it through this. But I come from people who went through a lot of stuff, you know.
Well, yesterday was a day, D-Day.
Yep.
When we think of, I wasn't born in 44. Were you born in 44?
No.
So neither of us were born. Our parents were young teenagers at that time, probably, and we had no idea what the world was facing. And I saw something on Facebook the other day, and it said, "You're enjoying your day at the beach because of their day at the beach."
I like that one.
And I like that, and it is the truth, because so many men and women lost their lives as they battle the beaches, and most of these kids, nobody realizes, 17, 18, 19 years old.
Right.
They had no opportunity to live their life.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, in World War II, was it a draft war? Were you drafted, or did you volunteer?
Oh, gosh.
I'm not sure.
You know, everybody in my family, my dad tells the story, he just said people would disappear. And it meant they went and joined up. I think that was pretty much what was going on. And he was what you call a 90-day wonder. He was going to Clemson when the war started. And so he was in the ROTC program there and not eligible because he started when he was 17. But as soon as he was 19, they opened up this program called the 90-Day Wonder. And he qualified for it, and he became an officer in 90 days.
Wow.
And then right from that point,
awesome opportunity.
He was in France.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And he hasn't really talked about it in detail until recently. He's going on 97 now. And so he will tell
That is
you.
amazing that your daddy is 97.
He might be, you know, we keep telling him, Dad, you could be the last World War II veteran standing, hanging there. And he has a fabulous just a fabulous attitude, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he served with the great generation, and he came home, and they all came home, and they all lost a lot of people, like my Uncle Johnny. And when
And
they
your
came
Uncle Johnny,
home,
even though he made it through the day
he
at
made
the
it
beach,
through D-Day.
then
Yep.
what happened?
Well, a couple of weeks later, that's what my dad told me, and you know, there's information out there. You can find out about most of them now, but he took a special, a special, what do you call it? I don't know, mission, and
An assignment that was
It
over
was-
the top dangerous,
well,
probably.
it was really, really dangerous, and nobody came back from it.
Wow, wow.
And that's why my dad told Noah, don't volunteer for any special missions.
Well,
Yeah.
last night, it's so weird. I was up till 1 o'clock this morning. Do my eyes look like it? Probably.
No, you look
I was up
beautiful.
till 1 a.m. and I'd watched the Waltons, and it was the episode when John Boy was lost. He was a reporter following the military, and he was on a special mission. They had been to Sicily, and then they went into, and I can't remember the country they went into, and everybody was lost. And that was the end of the Walton story, because that's when John Boy, as a writer, but the day that they found that he was on this mission and everybody was lost, a package arrived home, and he had written his journal of the military life and how the military at home, I mean, the military thinks of nothing but home and getting home and seeing
Right.
home and arriving home.
Right.
And that's what his memoirs were about.
Yeah.
And I thought, I've never seen that episode, and I've watched the Waltons a million times,
I haven't seen
over
that
and
either.
over and over, but I had never seen that episode. And I didn't know what happened to John Walton at the end.
Yeah.
And as his parents, the Red Cross had to deliver the news that this is what happened. He had survived the Sicily mission, then he went on a special assignment
Right.
that he chose to do.
Right.
And everybody was lost.
Well, that was
So,
Noah too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he
yeah.
they could have all just come back.
Right,
You know?
right.
But I believe that when, especially in our military, when they stand for each other and they stand for the mission. And so when something comes up, they don't think with the same kind of mind that we think with. They think with, I'm going to get this
We're going to
done.
accomplish this.
I'm going to do this
Yeah.
for my country and for my family and for my friends. And I think they hold that, you know, if you see all their Humvees and their vehicles, I mean, even my dad's time, you know, just they had the pictures of everybody taped up everywhere. And that is what motivated them. I mean, I think
Well,
that's an
and for
awesome
people who
thing.
don't know, during Noah's lifetime, he had accomplished everything. He had accomplished everything he ever set his mind to do. And then that horrible, horrible day of 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
And when 9/11 happened, Noah found it in his heart to make a difference in the world, as he had done in Gilmer County, as he had done at University of Georgia, and as he had done so many times. But the difference he chose to make was a forever lasting difference. And Noah did not survive, however many of his platoon did.
Oh yeah, I'm in contact with a lot of his men, and there you were talking earlier about how great it is to be a teacher in a small town and to see your students behind the camera and, you know, growing up and leading and teaching and doing all the things they do, and to see Noah's men becoming the men they are, it's just a really wonderful thing to meet their children. You know, they all call me Mama Lucy, you know.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, we
sweet
want to
thing.
share some photos, and these are of your bright and shining, beautiful son.
Aw.
And some other photos, I think, and there's one, I think, that even supports your beautiful, wonderful husband, Rick, the Vietnam vet.
That's right.
And we have to say that Noah learned his love, his talents, his amazing opportunity to give and give and give of himself from his parents, because that's what y'all do. So you've given yourself to Gilmer County, Rick has too, and here we're going to share a few photos, and this is our boy Noah, and this is when we think about D-Day. D-Day was a day yesterday that many people forget, and we should never, never, never forget that day. We have to remember that D-Day took more lives. And Lucy, have you ever seen the movie Saving Private Ryan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I couldn't make it through. We're going to show Noah's pictures in just a minute, but
Noah saw it.
I could not make it through the movie. I had to leave the theater. Knowing that your dad was in the military during that time, knowing that your uncle lost his life during that time, did you get through that whole movie? Were you okay with it? It was tough.
Yeah. No, well, I was with Noah and Rick, so I have watched every military movie, lots of military history movies. We read books. They would say, I really want you to read this book, and I would go, okay.
Yeah.
And that was one of Noah's favorites. It was very meaningful to him.
Yeah, and it was a true story.
Yep.
And Tom Hanks was the person who was in it, right? Yeah.
Right.
And when I think about my favorite military movie, and you're going to think I'm crazy, General Patton.
I thought that was a good
General
movie. I saw it a
Patton.
long time ago.
I love
but
that
I haven't
movie.
seen it in a long
He
time.
was one tough dude.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
one tough dude. And that's what the military was made up of. One tough dude and another tough dude and another tough dude. And they all came together from all different cities in the country. And they came together and formed one of the greatest armies ever, one of the greatest military ever, because our brightest and best chose often to join the military. Not all of them were drafted. Like Noah, they chose to make a difference. And
Well,
they chose to make
really,
a difference.
Yeah, Noah chose, when he chose the Army, he was so surprised when he went in because he had heard from his dad who the draft was hanging over everybody's head during the Vietnam War.
Right.
And his dad had talked about, glad we don't have the draft anymore, blah, 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 and about how people felt about being in the military. And so Noah kind of braced himself. He didn't expect the professionalism that he experienced when he got in there. And he just absolutely, he loved his men. He loved, his commanding officers. They were all volunteers.
Wow.
They wanted to
Wow.
be
Yeah.
where they were.
Yeah, now here are photos. Look at that. I love that.
I do
I
too.
love that. That is so precious. Tell me who the other two young men are.
Okay, that's David. His name is David Harris. He's the one, he had another last name, and after Noah was killed, he was estranged from his father anyway. He came to us and he said, Ken, I changed my name to Harris.
Oh my
And we
gosh,
said,
how precious.
Of course, son. And 2 years ago, he and his wife were going to have a baby, and they told us, that no matter what the name is, the
Yeah.
baby's going to be called Noah
Yes,
Harris.
yeah.
It's a
That's
boy,
awesome.
luckily.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
I
Awesome.
love these pictures.
I
all
tell
of
you,
them.
what a wonderful young man, and he was Gilmer County's first son, and that's David Collins
it
from
is.
Pickens County, and the same thing. This family, every time there's a Memorial Day tribute, every time there's 4th of July is coming around, we talk about Independence Day, we talk about 9/11, we talk about those days, but for some weird reason, people forget D-Day, and D-Day was one of those days that honestly, we can never ever forget that day, that moment, and I think that we all should go to a military cemetery and we should pay tribute. And if you haven't been to the Cherokee County, to the gardens, have you
That's
been there?
awesome.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
it
it
is
is
really
absolutely
awesome.
amazing, absolutely amazing.
That is a beautiful picture.
But
right
that's what we need to do, is we need to go and stand at the flag at these military cemeteries, and we need to know that we're allowed to do what we do because somebody gave it all. And that's what happens. So it's very, I'm looking at these, and I know the guys can't see them, but this is, when you did this, how many of these do you think you've handed out? How many of these do you think people carry in their pockets?
I hope a lot of you.
Yeah.
I think we've handed out quite a few.
Yeah, yeah.
But we
A
started
gentle
with
warrior.
just 100.
A gentle warrior.
Yeah.
A gentle warrior.
Well, that's the name of the book.
And I do what I can.
Right.
And that was Noah, and he did. And First Lieutenant Noah Harris, the post office here is named after him. And I said, every time I walk through there, I get a cold chill. And I just think of, oh my gosh, I remember him sitting here on the set and talking about bullets and Beanie Babies.
That's right.
And I just will forever, that's in my brain. and I think about how many young men did something as simple as that act of kindness while they were on foreign soil.
And all the people like you and kids here in this community, I'm still in contact with a lot of people who helped with that project, and it was a very, very meaningful time in their lives.
Yeah.
Because we all need, you know, I mean, we had that big need to help, to do something, you know, and that's what those Beanie Babies were all about. And I, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably just a little drop, but it's definitely a drop in the great well of eternity.
You know, I remember the day that I got a call, and I cannot remember Linda's last name.
Rogers.
Linda Rogers called me and said, "Hey, could you help us?" And I said, "Yeah, what do you need?" They said, "Well, we need some yellow ribbons." And they said, "We're starting in Gilmer County, and could you start Pickens County?" And we said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I put the word out, and Facebook didn't even exist then. I didn't even have a Facebook account. And somehow we got the word out, and we got the word out. And Vietnam vets would walk in my office and lay a $100 bill down and say, "Go buy more yellow ribbons." And I was like, oh my gosh. And you talk about communities coming together, because I didn't know Linda, you know, and she just made that call, and I'm so forever grateful, thankful that she did, because as we were putting up, we started at the Cherokee County line and came north on 515. As we were out there, Regina Camp and me and Angela, and we were out there staking these ribbons, people would stop on the side of the road and salute. And they just, it was, Lucy, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you know what traffic is on 515, 575? People would stop and just, you know, and we put them every 100 feet. And I would call people and say, they'd say, "Well, I can't make a bow." And I said, "Well, can you staple?" Because I said, "We'll make the bows if you'll staple them to the sticks."
So amazing.
And so that's what we did. We got a hammer, and we went out there and we drove them in the ground. We didn't know that later we would use them for David Collins, and then later we would use them for Justin up in McCaysville. We didn't know that 3 local young men and 3 plus 33 more, and no telling how many more, lost their lives. But we just knew that it was just an effort of this community honoring your son and your family. And it spread both ways, because we went north to McCaysville and we went south to Cherokee County. And it just brought the whole community together.
That's one of my favorite parts of the book, Simply American, because Rick and I did not know that was going on.
It's
We were
crazy.
we were just trying to tread water, and there were people in our house from the military, and just we had to go here and go there and make decisions. And when we hit the county line and saw all of that, it was just pretty
Unbelievable.
It was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then later when we were putting the book
And that was love
together,
reflected on you and Rick and Noah.
Yeah.
It was just love. It was like there were signs everywhere that said, "We love you, we love you, we support
felt
you,
it.
we love
Yeah,
you."
I know.
And that's what it was about. And that's what this community, you know, if Noah could come back today and be the man that he would be today, he would be making a difference just like you did. You know, he would be making a difference in some way. And I think even though he's not here, he will forever be making a difference in somebody's life.
It just is. Rick and I have completely accepted it, but it still is kind of overwhelming. I mean, not a day hardly goes by that we don't hear from people who tell us what Noah means in their lives and what the
Absolutely.
legacy is. And we just are awed, really, because there are so many people that they hold his memory up every day, and they just, you know, I think there was a line in that Saving Private Ryan, you know, where Tom Hanks is an old man and he goes to Arlington and he kneels down. No, it's not Tom Hanks. It was the
younger
Matt
guy.
Damon.
Yeah.
Matt Damon goes, and he asks the marker, "Have I been a good enough person?" And I think we all should feel that way in gratitude for the people who have come before, and you know, and the people who forged this country, not just the military, but you know, of course, all of our protectors, but the people who work hard every day to build our roads and to build beautiful buildings and make great art and music and to care for the children and older people and people who can't take care of themselves. I mean, this country is a huge quilt of many colors and many different people. And as long as, you know, we hold together, well, that quilt will hold us together. I mean, we can be as willful as we want to be, but that quilt is forever. It'll never go away.
We were having a conversation on the way up here this morning, and I said, you know, a lot of people are all of a sudden anti this, and just really being angry and mean, and I don't understand that. I grew up in the 60s, and I wasn't a love child, but I was a, you know, I didn't wear the long dresses and the beads and the, you know, I didn't do any of that. I worked in corporate America in an office and dressed in the nines, and then worked in a bar at night so I could buy the clothes to work in the bar in the office. You know?
I understand.
So I grew up in an era that people were not treated fairly. If you were a white woman and you were dating a black man in the 60s, you were ridiculed, you were talked down to, you were condemned because, what's she doing over here in our neighborhood, you know? And people were really angry with white women who were, I guess, before their time, forging into what everybody wants today, is just everybody to get along.
Right.
And I can remember the prejudice of that. And I went to school in a really great, wonderful Jewish community in Atlanta. And I remember when Philip Watson, our first black guy, came to school, and it was so cool because he could play football. Because I don't know if you know about these Jewish boys, but they're not great at football. They're not great. So that was like, oh yes, we're gonna rise from this last in the state, you know. And then my friend Glenda Whipple, she sounded just like Diana Ross. And she was a beautiful black lady who was in my 5th period. And I would always tell Coach Malden, can you let Glenda sing? We don't have anything else to do. He'd give us a study hall, and I'd say, let Glenda sing. And I said, you know, forever, and I don't think about those were my black friends, those were my friends.
Right. I grew up in much the same way.
Yeah, and those were my friends, and I would never say, this is my black friend Glenda, or this is my black friend Philip. These are my friends. And red and yellow, green and white, we are precious in his sight.
Amen.
Somebody forgot that. Somebody forgot that. And I remember growing up in the 60s, and my friend Abby Rowe, whose mother happened to marry well and was married to the editor of the Orlando Sentinel-Post, had a gorgeous black maid. She reminded me of Tina Turner. She was all this, you know, and she had these long fingernails, and I used to want to grow up to be Ina the maid because she was so cool. But I didn't think about her as Ina the black maid. We had a white maid, but I didn't think about those colors. I just thought about, Ina's the coolest thing, and I love her fingernails, and she's really cool, and she could do all the moves Tina Turner could do, you know, but I didn't think about that as black. And now there's a part of America that's at battle with that and fighting among themselves, and I don't get it. You know, I just don't get it, because I grew up in the 60s, and it was love child, and it was acceptance, and it was, you know, and you accepted me when I worked in the law firm and I was dressed in the nines, and you accepted me when I was the bartender. You know, it's just whatever, but it's a very different world today, and we have a little bit of, we got some anger going on, and I don't understand
We got some people fanning the flames of the anger.
Yes.
You know, I just, every day when I read a lot of news sources from the far left to the far right, and I watch and try to keep up with what's going on, because I just think that is part of my job, is to know what's going on and to be apprised of it. And I have seen a lot of anger and invective, but I've also seen many, many people who are speaking wonderful truth about how great our country is and about how important it is for us to focus on the good and to focus on the positive. We will get through this time together. And people who don't want to get through this time together, you know, I don't know what will happen to them, but I believe our country is stronger than any one group of people. I hope I'm right. You know, a lot of people, in my life try to tell me, oh, you're just being too soft or too much the flower child that you always were. I go, well, I have been a flower child for a long time, but it has served me well.
Oh, yeah.
And helped me to serve other people well.
Right.
And to, it helps me to build that faith in my heart. I have that.
I think about our dad walked a beat in Atlanta as a cop and was respected. And people were like, oh, there's Officer so-and-so, da-da-da-da-da. And today, we don't even honor our police officers. And to me, that is so scary because they're like Noah. They're out on the front line every day. They're out there risking their lives, whether it be a traffic incident or whether it's a domestic dispute. And you find a 28-year-old veteran of 6 years getting shot in the head because he went out to try to calm a domestic dispute. We're not respecting those who deserve our respect. And that scares me. That scares me.
I think it kind of comes in waves because I remember a time when I was young, when policemen were called PIP and that kind of thing, and the young people,
I remember
it was very vogue. And that's the thing. I mean, I'm not going to condemn everybody who's saying negative things. I'm going to listen carefully. I'm going to try to answer their questions if they ask a question, or if they want to build, if they want to make things better. I mean, otherwise, I just kind of have to keep my peace and pray really hard and have faith in my country because I just think they'll grow up.
Well, see those flags? That's my favorite. When I see that every single day, whether it be at a car dealership that has a massive, huge flag, or a little tiny flag that a child is holding on the 4th of July, that thing is real, and it is there to remind us that we do live in the greatest country in the world, and we can all get together and we can make it better.
Yeah.
We can make it better.
And that's what we've always done. There's always been strife.
We have the ability.
But now we can communicate too. Like I have friends all over the world, and they tell me, please help America. The things we're hearing, we don't. America is our great hope.
Don't give up hope.
No, don't give up.
I want to see what this is. Dawn bought me this little book, and it says, on June the 7th, why is everyone hungry for more? I have God's more than enough, more joy in one ordinary day. At day's end, I'm ready for sound sleep for you. God has put my life back together. And we all have a choice. We can have gone through any and everything horrible in the world, but we have a choice. And God has put our life back together. And that's from Psalm. And when you think about, we have a choice. We have a choice to make if something really bad happened to you. I put something on Facebook last night, and I'm sure somebody's thinking, oh my gosh, what's going on with her? And it says, if you walk through hell, come out victorious. And I put this little fast walking woman because I'm a little short, fast woman, walking woman. And I said, no matter what we go after, we have to walk through it as if it is the fire of hell, and we have to come out of it. And that's our choice, You walk through, you get it done, and you move on.
Well, and I would hope that the people who are kind of dwelling on those dark places right now, that at some point they will pick up their feet and get moving in a positive direction. That's what, work is so wonderful. When you find a life's calling, and that's what I always say to young people, figure out what you love to do.
And it doesn't
and
matter if
go
you're the
do it.
best biscuit maker at the Dairy
That's
Queen
right.
or if you are the
Doesn't.
best chicken cutter at the chicken plant.
Nope.
It doesn't matter. If you do something well and you are paid for that accomplishment and you make a difference in somebody else's life. I know somebody who's worked at the chicken plant like 18 years.
Yeah.
And you think about that. I wouldn't last 20 minutes, Lucy. I went in there one time and I gagged like you would not believe. I have the weakest
I think
stomach
it's
in
an
the world.
awesome place.
I think it's amazing that people can go in there and do what they do. And then people say, well, she just works at the chicken plant. Yes, she does something I couldn't do.
She's building America, infrastructure of the county.
Yes, and she does something I could not do. Somebody asked me one day, they said, how do you do television every day? And I said, because it's easier than working at the chicken plant.
That's good.
And it is.
But it's your talent. It's you know, it's what
what I
God
do. It's what
put
I
you
do.
on this earth to do. I was going to, how long have you been doing this?
16 years.
16 years.
16 years.
I've been there since the beginning.
Yes,
I
yes,
really
you
have.
We've gotten
Yeah.
old together.
Yeah.
No,
We
we
still
haven't.
have the curly hair, right?
We do.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. Please remember our sponsors, and remember too that Heart of the Home is now on about 5 times a week. So if you enjoyed the Heart of the Homes when we came to you on WGGS out of Greenville and WATC out of Atlanta, those programs are now on ETC. And you will get to see some of the cool things. My favorite one was last week when we did Bob Turley. We were up at Bob Turley's and Carolyn's house up on Lake Blue Ridge. Absolutely beautiful home, beautiful day, great recipe, and we had so much fun. So, you know, make ETC a part of your day, from our sports packages where you see your kids playing ball, where you see your grandkids out there, you know, performing ballet. It has been a great opportunity for the community to stay connected, and I think that's what we're about. So pay attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back.
It's that time again for Fire in the Sky. Fireworks over Lake Blue Ridge this July 4th. All thanks to our sponsors, Blue Water Energy, the Fannin County Chamber of Commerce, and Caldwell Banker High Country Realty. So come join the live excitement of Fire in the Sky. Fireworks over Lake Blue Ridge on July 4th. Or watch it live on ETC Channel 3.
Whether it's memories of your first trip to the local Dairy Queen or your daily visit for a $5 lunch special, the Jasper Dairy Queen has been a part of the community for over 40 years. Locally owned and operated, Jasper DQ is the place where specialty items often become favorites. Burgers, shakes, chicken tenders with yummy dip and gravy. And don't forget the rings and fries. Celebration cakes are always fresh and fast and include the awesome Blizzard Cake. Stop by where folks are always meeting and eating. 515 at Highway 53. Just follow the crowd to the Dairy Queen.
ETC knows the internet is evolving, taking new twists and turns. As we add our input, make our choices, and follow the light that connects us all. It's quite a journey, one to experience with the fastest speeds available. Contact ETC. Connect to the internet speed that suits your journey, and enjoy the ride.
Whether you're swimming in the sea, or splashing in the pool, making a masterpiece, or just making memories, writing a great American novel, or writing your term paper that's due tomorrow. Whatever you do in life, Farmers is here to protect it. For all your insurance needs, call Donald Curtis in Blue Ridge.
Georgia Medical Treatment Center now has 2 locations to bring you the high-quality holistic care you've come to know and expect. We treat neck, back, and joint pain with chiropractic care and injection-based treatment without the need for surgery or prescription painkillers. Our medical weight loss program can also provide relief while ridding your body of toxins, pounds, and inches while improving your overall health. Call today for a free consultation, 770-345-2000, or go online to georgiamtc.com.
We're back. Okay. All right. Storytelling. Everybody has a story to tell. And Lucy, you are a big part of storytelling here in Gilmer County. Share a little bit of that with us.
Well, we have a storytelling day, which is the 4th Thursday of every month, unless something comes up,
Yeah.
which there was a huge flood one night,
Yes.
and so we canceled storytelling. But we meet at Gilmer Arts at the theater.
And we
the-
might say beautiful, beautiful theater.
It is a gorgeous venue
Beautiful.
for
Yeah.
anything.
Yes,
But
yes.
to go in there and tell your stories and listen to stories, it sounds sort of formal, but it really isn't. We're a very laid back group of people, and some people have been there since the beginning, and then we have people who sometimes just have to come and tell a story, and they only come one or two times because they need to tell that story. That's what we say. That everyone has a story to tell, and it needs to be told and heard. So listeners are just as important. But you might have a relative even who is a great storyteller. And
Do you
just bring
remember when
them.
Ann Parks was here at ETC? One of the first people, she sat over here in a rocking chair, and she did storytelling. And she was from the Talking Rock Carnes Mill area of Pickens County, and they brought her in to do storytelling. And I was watching the other night, and we still air that stuff. So, she was telling a story that her grandmother had told and that her mother had told. And immediately I went to Tom Quinton, who was her brother, who was just a fantastic storyteller to the children at school. He was a teacher.
Right.
And he died very young. But the students loved Mr. Quinton. I mean, it was just, he was amazing. And I think there's a Memorial Arts Center in Pickens County named after him. But he was that storyteller too that captured the attention of a child who maybe would have been forgotten if somebody hadn't said, just listen to what I have to say.
Yeah. And we try to help people who are storytellers to come and have a safe place where they can tell a story too, because not everybody who tells a story knows how to tell it in front of a group of people, you know, and we're not a big group of people. It's a small group of people, and so we try to keep it, you know, very comfortable and relaxed. We do follow kind of the rules, like there's a national storytelling movement sweeping the country, really. You can do storytelling anywhere. So if you go on a trip and you're stuck somewhere, like a business trip, and you need something to do, if you look it up, you could probably go to a storytelling and hear the stories. But we thought the kind of the national plan is that your story should be about 7 minutes long. We're not hard and fast about anything. We don't have a gong. It can be less. It can be a little bit more. We try not to. We try to honor each other by not going on and on and on about the story. And we at Gilmer Arts, we have the no politics and no bad cussing, because we have children who come and tell stories.
Yeah,
you know, we want to encourage that too.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, and I would have to throw into that no drinking. 'Cause I'm so.
We don't smell anybody's breath when they get there. But I think you can have, you know, if you really
glass of
wanted to have a
wine or
glass of
whatever,
wine
yeah,
at Gilmer
yeah,
Arts,
yeah.
you can have a glass of wine.
Yeah. Well, I think about how many things that I did, and Joe Kelly McCutcheon used to make me tell my
Now,
jet
see,
skiing
he could
story.
come tell some stories,
He could
too.
tell some stories. Well, I would tell my jet skiing story to him, and he
Oh, I
would just
love that
crack up
story.
laughing. And then every time we would be out in public, he would say, "Tell that story about your jet skiing," and I'm like, I don't want to. It's embarrassing. You know, it's crazy.
Well,
but it
that's
was
part
so
of it.
funny. Yeah, it was so funny. And when it happened to me, it wasn't funny. But when it was over, it was pretty dang funny.
The first time you told it to me, it was really, I was
crazy.
like, what? No.
It's crazy. And it all
good.
started with Freddie saying, "Why are you at the beauty shop? We're going jet skiing." And I made the dumb statement, "Well, I don't get my hair wet when I jet ski." Boy, did they make a liar out of me that day. So I got everything wet. But we all have good stories, inspirational stories. We have a way to touch somebody who's possibly in a depressed state and
Yes.
thinking of suicide. And I said, that's my goal. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but my granddaughter, Angela's daughter, has joined a group up in Alaska, and it's suicide prevention. And Tori just did a triathlon
Wow.
to raise money
That's awesome.
to honor her mother. She swam, she biked, and she ran.
Right.
And she said, "Nanny, I just hope I can accomplish this." And she did this. She set a goal for herself. Now she has a story to tell.
She does.
She has a story to tell.
We have a triathlete who's a storyteller, and he told his triathlete story last month. That
Wow.
was just really,
Wow.
it was really
And
good.
what inspired him to do? to do that?
He's just a runner, and then
See,
I
Tori
guess
wasn't. Tori was a sit at a desk. That's what's so amazing
That's so
about
great
her.
for her,
She
though.
changed completely to
That's
be
awesome.
this. I'll call. What you doing? It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm at the gym. What you doing? It's midnight. I'm swimming.
that's awesome.
It was amazing. It was
She
amazing.
changed
Yeah.
her life.
Absolutely
Yeah,
changed
yeah.
her life, and it was because she lost her mother. And I don't know, have you seen the story that she did about her mother's Christmas house and how so many people came to her house? You need to get on YouTube and look it up.
Okay.
But this was Tori's first story of sharing that her mother ended her life, and how she used to open her door to people, and we'd have like 400 people a week come through Angela's house to see her
Right.
Christmas
I
decorations.
do remember about that.
Yeah, and then Tori told that story.
Mm-hmm.
And once she told that story, then you have another story of success after suicide.
Right.
And if you've had a success story, you need to share it with somebody who is feeling very low and
Right.
down and depressed. Because depression is real. Depression is very real.
It is real, that out of tragedy. I mean, I'm so proud of Tori.
Oh, it's
'Cause
amazing.
she is just,
She's doing it.
Yeah,
She's doing
yeah.
it. She's living the life
You
that her
make that
mother
choice.
didn't. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And we say suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary situation. And so many people, and lately I've read some things about depression on my Facebook page with my friends, and I'm like, don't do that, don't say those words, and I'll message them.
no, come
And
on.
it scares me because, so somebody has a story out there that you don't realize if you see them every day at work. You don't know that they go home to really, really bad things and that they're in a bad,
right.
serious situation. You don't know that they're living in a dangerous situation. You don't know. But then you'll read that one line that says, I need to reach out to
Yes.
this person. And that's something you've
That's
done
what I do.
by reaching out to people and helping them. And Crystal is our precious viewer.
Crystal.
We love you, Crystal, and we're so glad that you tune in. And Crystal is a part of your success story because you became her teacher first and then her friend and have been in her life forever. And you've certainly made a difference in her life.
Well, COVID kind of it kind of hurt our relationship for a while, but not too bad.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Well, we're all back to living life, and
Yes,
I got
we are. We
yeah.
should. I'm so glad. And can I say that I am so proud of Gilmer County and the education system here, because I have friends all over the country and really all over the world, and they haven't had school. They didn't have graduation. They haven't persevered like the Gilmer Bobcats have, and I'm just so happy for them. And most of the people, I guess, we in the mountains have just made up their minds. We're going to get through this by
are.
getting through this.
We are.
Yeah. It's
Well,
awesome.
I found something the other day. I was going through just a bunch of, everybody's stuff. Only people who are not happy with themselves are mean to others. Remember that. So I think happiness comes from within. And at 1 o'clock this morning, my daughter and I are having this conversation and da-da-da, back and forth. And I'm thinking, this is my child who is the drug addict that I was certainly sure that I would bury because her life had just gone shh. And now she's my encourager.
Right.
So you talk about a story,
awesome.
you talk
It is
about
a
a story, but and she says, if God were not in my life, if God had not lifted me, and I think that's what a lot of people are missing. They don't understand. I'm not strong enough to make this by myself.
Right.
I'm not strong enough to overcome my daughter's suicide by myself. I did none of this by myself. It was God first, and then friends and family, and just notes from viewers. I used, I have this box, and I'll get boxes of little cards, little sayings, a handkerchief somebody sent me, just different things. That's what got me through this.
I
It was
have
a
this-
community taking care of me.
That's what the book is really. Noah's book is the compilation of all these beautiful things that people wrote to us to encourage us and telling us about, what Noah meant to them, and it just,
And it's so weird that I never got to meet him, but he means so much to me and has forever.
Yeah.
And it
I
just,
know.
it's weird.
Well,
It's weird. It's a good weird.
It's a good weird.
It's a good weird.
We're in, we call it the alternate universe, and when you get in that alternate universe, you meet people heart to heart, eye to eye, soul to soul. And I think that's really, if we all remember that right now, and remember what's really guiding us, and share that with each other all the time, no matter what. Don't let the facades come up. Don't let the distractions get in the way, but just really live and be present with people. We won't see problems, we'll just see people. People who are like us, weak, problematic, quirky. We're all, some of us have straight hair, kinky hair, whatever. It doesn't, we're all different, but we're all, it's what's inside that really counts. And that's what storytelling is really about. It's so funny when you tell your story to another person and they listen to you, they become a part of you, and you become a part of them, because it's just a communication. We're just these divine animal critters that have the ability to share and to
make
love
a difference.
and make a difference.
Yeah. I did several seminars about abuse and not just the physical abuse, but other abuse. And there was a beautiful lady at the first one I did, and I always thought she was the coolest thing. She had this jacked up white hair that she spiked a little bit, and she was beautiful. And I would see her around town, but I didn't really know her story. And after I did what I did, she came up to me and she said, "You just told my life story, but I stayed longer than you did." And I thought that was so amazing to me, because I thought she had it all together.
Right.
And then
that's what everybody thinks.
Everybody
right?
assumes
Cherie
that.
has it all together.
And then you go home and you open that door and you're living in something that's not right. And that's what she did. And she did it for 27 years. And I thought, man, she's stronger than me. She's smarter than me. She stayed, she toughed it out. And she said, but then that one day, I had all I could take and I was gone. And I thought, because I thought, oh, she's probably married to the love of her life, and she's probably, and I was so wrong, Right. So sometimes their story is not quite what you think it is. And
so it's like this one.
Yeah.
Sometimes the people, we see the people who are not happy, but when we see the people sometimes who appear to be very happy,
we don't
look.
You don't know.
Yeah. And that's part of our job, I think, as human beings, is to do the best we can to communicate and to give other people a safe space. I'll listen to you. I know you listen to me.
Well, it's so strange just being, I think COVID taught me this. I hate masks. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't, And somebody told me the other day, they said, well, we're so disappointed that you haven't gotten the shot. And I said, well, that's my business, and I'm going to take care of me, and that's, what it is. And I said, we all take care of ourselves, and I can't wear a mask because I can't breathe. And I went somewhere the other day, and I had to wear a mask. And when I left there, I was angry. But at the same time, I thanked the people who were there who have to wear that mask 8 hours.
Right.
Because I only had to wear it 30 minutes,
right.
and I couldn't breathe.
Right.
But then I thanked the people who are there on the front lines, and I'm having to deal with this for 30 minutes. They have to deal with it for 8 hours.
All day long.
So we have to remember to, even though it is annoying, we have to say gratitude to those. And I have a new T-shirt that says, and I got it up at Fields of the Wood, it says, I'm too grateful to be hateful.
There you go. That's it.
So there you go.
That's a really good one. Too grateful
I'm
to be
too
hateful.
grateful to be hateful. And I said, that's what life is about. And we're going to share some photos in just a second. And when I think about the past year, I have friends who've lost parents to dementia. We have a family very close to my heart dealing with dementia today. We have another family up in Fannin County dealing with dementia today. And when we think of, I'm watching what this is doing to the caretaker. Every caretaker out there needs a break. Every caretaker out there needs our prayers. Every caretaker, Bill Senyard's mom went real fast. At the same time, 2 of her sisters had dementia, so 3 of them. So out of 12 family members, I think 9 have now had full-blown dementia and then Alzheimer's. So you think about what it does to that person. We have to pray for everybody who is taking care of a loved one battling dementia. So we're going to share some photos, and one of them you're going to see is Bill Senyard's mom and dad and 2 of his grandkids. And that's one of the happiest days of my life. We went down and we had a great opportunity. We got to be with Joel and Victoria Osteen, had a great day. Yeah. But when I look at that line of people, James is missing from cancer. He had cancer for 4 weeks. We don't know what the next 4 weeks is going to bring. We don't know what the next 4 months is going to bring. We don't know what the next 4 years is going to bring, but we know that we can make a difference today, right now, this moment, for everybody, because we have the ability to change how we treat people. Right. And, you know, even though I was angry when I had to wear that mask the other day, I thanked everybody in there. That's because, right. And look at that. Now, that's the beginning of when we were first at Lee College with the Barker brothers, and long time ago. And I think about the happy memories, the happy times. That's the first Cherie show, and that was Hewitt Rabel and Hans Rufert were responsible for that. And we just, you know, we've had so many happy moments, yes. And then the happy moments go away when there's a problem with family and caretaking and all these things that happen. And, you know, Ron and Shirley lost both her parents. They lost their son, Brady. We've all gone through something that hurts forever, but we have to get through it, and it never goes away. And there's going to be somebody there who's going to lift your look at our buddy, Joe Kelly McCutcheon. That's the day that I came back to ETC. That's the day that Ed Singleton was being honored, and or Ed Singleton called me to come up here and see Joe, and so that's the day I came back. But it's such awesome. A blessing. It's such a blessing to have these 16 years of memories, and to have, now that's, she died not long after that. That's Loretta Lynn's oldest daughter. And sadly, Betty Sue died when we were with her and we did an interview with her. She was battling emphysema. And you don't think. We go to see her every summer, and then the next summer she's gone. Right. You know, so we don't realize that these moments are right here, right now, and we have to capture them. We have to... Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. And be sure to tell somebody thank you, you know.
And tell everybody you know that you love them.
Yep,
as
absolutely.
Often as you can.
Yep.
You know, because you never know when you're not going to get that opportunity.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I said that's something that I dealt with my mother. I went on Thursday, and then Angela said, "Mom, don't worry. We'll take care of her. We'll be there over the weekend. We'll check on her, da-da-da-da-da." Well, forever, I regretted that I didn't go on the weekend because she passed on Monday morning. So you know, you look at yourself every single day. I was there and I was taking care of her, but my husband was dying at the same time, and I was trying to take care of him, and I felt like I didn't do enough. Well, I did.
You did.
I did all I could do.
I do what I can.
Yes,
I did. Did you do what you could?
Yes, I did. I did. And I said it's so weird because I did all I could possibly handle. And so many caretakers get to a point of breaking, and they don't know, I can't take anymore. I can't take anymore. And really when my husband was dying, I wouldn't cry in front of him, but I would go out near the pasture and I would just scream and cry and say, you know, and then when Mother died, I was convinced that he wasn't going to die because God's not going to do this to me twice. You know, I'm safe. I'm home safe. Mama passed. He's going to make it. Well, 6 weeks later, I planned another funeral. And I thought, God, this is not the plan that I had for you. It was his perfect plan for me. Isn't that weird? Isn't that
my dad would tell you to. Even though he's going on 97, he would still tell you just to seize the day, seize the moment.
Every moment, every single moment. So today, y'all, this is my thing to you today. Everywhere you go today, I don't care if you go through the drive-thru at Captain D's and get a tea. I don't care if you go to the dry cleaners to pick up your cleaning. Tell everybody that you deal with, thank you very much for doing what you do.
That's another soul. The person who is waiting on you, taking care of you, that is just a beautiful creation of God. You know, and if you look at it that way, then you'll pay attention.
That's it.
Pay attention.
That's it. There's a sweet lady at the dry cleaners who loves my black Lincoln. And she always comments on my car. Well, she wasn't there the other day. So I was disappointed that I didn't get to see her because she's from New Jersey or New York. I can't remember. She told me. But she just has this really cool attitude. And she's a New Jersey or New Yorker. She's got that little feistiness.
Yes.
And
They do have that.
yes, they do. And I really like her. And so I was disappointed when I went to take dry cleaning in and she wasn't there, you know. And so somebody makes a difference in your life and then maybe they're gone.
Right.
Maybe she moved back. Maybe she quit her job. Maybe she retired. Maybe she's sick. You don't know. But that moment that you have the opportunity to meet them make a difference. Make a difference.
Well, and we have that saying, you never know what you've got till it's gone. But our job is to know what we have.
Yeah.
Just amazing
Yes.
life.
And
Amazing life.
to say this is important. Today,
is.
this moment is important. Lucy, I
How
love
could it
you.
not?
Now
I
tell
love
people
you.
right quick, we've only got just a minute.
Okay.
Tell people about storytelling. When again do they show up?
It's always the fourth Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock. We open the doors and run our mouths for about a half hour, enjoy being together. And then we, at 6:30 on the button, because I run it at this time, I'll pass it on to somebody else as mean as me. You know, we go, okay, time to start.
Yeah.
And we start.
Okay.
And we just, every single person who's there, we kind of have little, not a system, but it's real easy going.
And so humorous, inspirational, encouraging, something that's going to make a difference in somebody's life.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
we have a person who actually tells the most hysterical lies. Okay, she tells true stories too, but every now and then she'll be telling you a true story, and about 2/3 the way through, you go, this one might not be. And she's really, really good. She won the Rome Liars contest.
Oh,
Have you ever
wow.
heard of that? 200 years old. They've been
Oh, my
having
gosh.
that contest every year, and people make up these whoppers and tell them.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It's funny.
That's crazy.
Fun.
Yeah. Get out there and join y'all. It is
Yep.
time for us to get out of here. And I know,
Thank you for having me,
you've made a difference in
Cherie.
somebody's life today.
Love you.
Love you.
Yep.
Love you. Love you.
Mwah.
Have a good day, everybody, and we'll see you again only on ETC. Don't forget, tonight's program will re-air at 6 o'clock and again at 1 a.m. for you late nighters. We're going to leave you now where rivers, mountains, and good friends meet. I love you,
right.
Lucy.
I love you.
I love you. I love you. I love you.